What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and we're back with One Piece chapter 896, and honestly, I don't know how to feel about this one. But yeah, let me talk you through my thoughts on the chapter. I want to start off with the Sanji and Pudding stuff, because after reading and rereading, this is actually the part of the chapter that I liked most. Like, I've always been someone who liked Pudding from the start. Yes, I did get annoyed with her repetitive mood swings towards the middle of the arc, but overall, I still very much like her character, and I would absolutely love for a relationship between her and Sanji to continue, because I really do think they have a cool dynamic, if that makes any sense. And in this chapter, the conversation between them was great in my opinion. Basically, Sanji expressing how happy he is to have met her regardless of how things turned out, and that he's happy that she's his fiancée out of all of the people that could have been his fiancée, and then Pudding pretty much trying to say the same thing back to him, but her evil side wasn't letting her. And although this has happened multiple times during this arc, I kind of feel like it was all building up to this moment, because every time this happens, Sanji seems to misunderstand her intentions. Like this chapter especially, when she flipped and just told him to shut up, his reaction was like, oh yeah, I get it, we're enemies after all, even though that wasn't what she was actually trying to say. So he technically still doesn't understand her or how she feels very well. And at the end of this conversation, she asked him for one last request and took Sanji's cigarette out of his mouth. Now, on my first read through, I naturally assumed, oh, she's gonna kiss him. But then on my second read through, I kind of thought about it a different way. I feel like what she's about to do is express herself, like how she truly feels, and show him who she truly is through her memories. That way Sanji will completely be able to understand her feelings towards him, even towards her family, without her actually having to say a word and without her evil side interfering with that. Maybe he finds out about her relationship with Lola or her distaste for Big Mom, all of that kind of stuff, and who knows, maybe we get another crew member from this. Yeah, maybe the whole crew member thing is a bit of a reach, but let me know what you guys think about it regardless. I haven't really heard anyone else mentioning anything like this yet, so I'm really interested to hearing your opinions about it. But yeah, that's definitely my favourite part of the chapter, the part that stood out for me most anyway. The rest was just good in my opinion, nothing too special. Like the finale of the Luffy versus Katakuri fight felt quite underwhelming if I'm honest with you. Like, not only did we not see the big final clash, but it's also unclear as to what happened. Like, did they both miss? Did they both land their hits? Did only Luffy's attack land? Like, I'm leaning more towards Luffy's attack being the one that landed, but as I said, for a final clash, it's pretty unclear as to what actually happened. And the whole thing with Katakuri falling on his back finally didn't really carry enough weight to me to make me feel any type of way about it. Like, yeah, the symbolism is cool, but I don't really feel like Luffy made him do it. More like he gave in and allowed himself to fall, especially because it wasn't even as a result of the final clash. It was barely even as a result of Luffy's hits, to be honest with you. Like, it was more like he just passed out from exhaustion from fighting too long or some shit. And then when it comes to the Luffy covering Katakuri's mouth with the hat out of respect, I love how it gave me flashbacks of the Gorgon sisters and their slave brandings and how Luffy protected them from being exposed with that. Like, it's definitely a good nod towards Luffy's character, but yet again, I lack the emotional attachment for it to really mean anything to me in this fight. But yeah, that's just me. I feel like after such a dope fight between these two in the last chapter, this was just an anticlimactic follow-up. It didn't really do it for me. I do like the fact that this chapter brought about a conclusion to something though, because now we can move on and focus on the Big Mom stuff with the cake, as well as the meet up with the rest of the Straw Hats. I look forward to seeing how Oda tackles both of those obstacles, the Big Mom one especially. But yeah, I really don't have much more to say about this one, to be honest with you. Like, as I said, I think it was a good chapter, but nothing really special. Like, the only things that stood out to me was the Sanji and Pudding conversation, and the fact that the Luffy versus Katakuri fight has finally concluded. The rest is pretty forgettable, to be honest with you. Oh, and the fact that it kind of confirms that Pedro's dead. The fact that Pekins showed up and is now saying that because Pedro sacrificed himself for the Straw Hats, he now feels obliged to help them. So that is kind of a confirmation that Pedro actually is dead, as opposed to him being brought back later in the arc. So yeah, there is still the possibility that it might happen though regardless. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this chapter in the comment section down below. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Or are you somewhere in between like I am? Like the video if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already for more of that One Piece content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. One.